You just bleep that out. It'd be kind of a good bumper. Just let's do it.
Oh, you censored yourself that time.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
As usual, you can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with the 90s. You can also watch this show on YouTube at namely90s.com/YouTube. And finally, if you'd like to support the show, head over to Patreon. Wow, I can't say Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/namely90s, also with a 90s, and get signed up for one of the support levels. Boy, I'm rusty at this. Welcome back to the microphone, sir.
Well, it has been an exact week since, thank you, since we...
It only takes me a week to develop rust. That's a really big concern.
Yeah, well, hopefully you don't rust up between the next one, because we're doing 2 in this batch.
I'm like the Tin Man over here.
Find him an oil can. And
I need to be lubed up. Wait. Well, I mean...
I have about 14 hours to get this recorded and then out for print.
Well, you better get started. Wait.
We just did. Also, well, to be fair, I spent like the most of this week like clearing out. You may notice that I have a terrible angle if you're watching this at namely90s.com/YouTube. I've redesigned my workspace and cleaned out.
Yeah, it looks like GTA 2 over there. Like this is the top-down view.
It's 2.5 D, as they would say back in the SNES
2.5 D. Mm-hmm.
Nope, not gonna make that joke. But yeah, although my webcam looks great now, I need to figure out where to put my actual video camera that I record on. I might actually just use the webcam recordings for these next 2 episodes. Who knows?
It looks like relatively high quality.
They're both recording at 1080p. Yeah. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I've redesigned my studio. It's actually kind of fun. Andrew got his pod shed. I have my pod corner.
Pod corner. I like it.
Yeah. And complete with stuff that I might be doing some streaming soon. So I know I teased that when you started doing streaming, but I may actually be doing some streaming soon.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I'm not streaming anymore because I have the attention span of a goldfish.
Well, who knows? We might have some crossover Counter-Strike stuff in the future. But currently, I'm running it off, still running it off of my MacBook. So I still kind of just figuring out the meta and what I plan on doing with it. But
you're trying to figure out the streaming platform.
Yes. Well, that I have to figure out, and on top of that, just like the whole like the streaming meta of what's to actually stream and how to gain attention in a sea of people.
Yes, it is hard to differentiate oneself, which is necessary in almost every area of life.
Right.
Wow, this is getting deep.
Yep.
That's what she said.
I also didn't start a timer. Ooh, I could finally get a timer. So I don't know how it's different from the previous setup where I just had it on my kitchen table, but that might help. Or just an app on one of my displays.
That app. I saw this meme earlier that was like, what apps have you purchased that you thought were worth the money? And someone's like, definitely mozzarella sticks and artichoke dip.
Did you send that to me? I saw the
mozzarella
we both
saw
ones.
it somewhere. Yeah. It's like, Yeah, that's not what they meant, but that's exactly where my mind went.
It might have been the 30 as fuck, 30 AF Instagram.
I don't buy apps as a general rule. One app that I would say is very cool, though, there is one cross-platform baby monitor app. So Kayla has an Android. I have an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all of them only work with one platform or one OS. And there's one that works with both. So basically, if we're far from the house, like a block away, at the neighbors, we can still like keep an eye on things at the home.
That's nice.
And I think I paid like $5 for it. So, on each device. So $10. That was worth it.
I'll keep that in mind in the next decade. If we're doing namely apps right now, I also recommend mozzarella sticks. But if we're the one app that I've purchased in the last 5 years and actually use is Paprika 3. It's a place where you can download, or it's a recipe holder, a recipe book, essentially digital. So and it's on iCloud, it'll sync across your devices, so I can be on my phone, download a recipe to it, and then use it on my iPad later on. And the nice thing about it is, how recipe blogs are like, I spent 5 months in Tuscany, and this is 5.
Get to the recipe.
Exactly. It'll parse everything and just save the recipe.
Yeah, it's like other meats you could use for this. Ostrich. And then there's like a link to ostrich meat on Amazon that you can buy. Yeah. Speaking of memes,
ostrich
meat?
Memes.
Okay. You've seen that one where it's like, hey, do you want to eat 6 string cheeses in a row? And then it's like, no. What if we deep fried them? Yes, please.
Well, only if it's served with a side of
marinara.
Marinara, that's what
or as really ostentatious people say, marinara. Those are the same people who say caramel. God, caramel people drive me nuts.
I was nuts. I was
caramel.
I mean, it's interesting. I was helping some friends out at their restaurant today, and they had steak frites on the menu, and the number of people that said, I'll take some steak frites.
Stiac frites. Stiac frites.
I was like, okay. Apparently that's not a common term. Frites.
Oh, I have the steak with freedom fries.
I guess that is the population here, but yeah. Also, someone pronounced bao.
Bao.
Yep, that was fun.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
white folks.
Yeah, you know where I live. It's a very. It's not like the fact that there is a bao place.
Great place to start a strictly Asian place. Although, are there steak and frites inside the bao bun?
No, that's so after they're done with bao for the day, because they'll sell out and won't be able to. They
become a Michelin-rated restaurant.
Not quite yet. They've just opened for the last. They're still in a soft opening phase.
So they're like a Bridgestone listed facility.
Charles Schwab, maybe.
Charles Schwab. No, Bridgestone's a tire company. Les Schwab.
Les Schwab is what I was thinking.
Yes, Charles Schwab. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh man, they're E-Trade listed. Anyway, this has devolved badly.
What is our podcast called?
I don't know. Namely, financial firms and tire companies. Get them they're definitely Yokohama rated for sure.
Yokohama.
Anyway,
Yamaha.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so why don't you tell us what was going on in February of 1994?
Travel back with me, listeners, if you will, to February of 1994. On the 1st, Jeff Gillooly pleads guilty for his part in the murder of Nancy.
No, was that actually on purpose? I know the last one was.
I wrote it on purpose, but I wrote these 2 weeks ago because we do something called Quotely 90s, and due to our production schedule and their production schedule and me always curtailing to everyone else's whims, I have to outline our episodes 2 weeks in advance so that we have what we're promoting for the current episode that you're listening to 2 weeks ago, so they can record at the end of that week and push it out.
You're even boring me, and I care.
It's inside baseball. But
the throwback is the one where you said in the last episode, Tanya Harding kills Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. We had the special last week.
Rip to the max.
Rip to the max. No, Jack Kirby pleads guilty for his part in the whacking of Nancy Kerrigan's knee via Tanya Harding. So
wildly ineffective whacking of her leg, I might add.
Yeah, well...
Like it had the desired effect, but like he meant to break it, and he just like gave her a bruise.
Yeah, no, you can
Worst hitman ever.
You can clearly tell I intended this sentence as it is the murder of Nancy Kerrigan via Tanya Harding and a baton. Yeah. Also on the first, not as funny, Harry Styles is born. He's an actor.
He's from what was that thing? Was it Spice Girls?
Eternals.
No, Male Spice Girls.
Are you just saying that because that's the only British band you could think of?
1D.
He was. That is actually what it is, isn't it? One Direction, but he was most recently an actor in the Eternals movie.
I thought it said entrails at first. I was like, what? He is born entrails in parentheses. Like, what?
Why are we so loopy this episode?
I don't know. It's the coffee. It's late night coffee.
I didn't drink anything. On the second, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 for the Sega Mega Drive is released in North America. This is the first introduction of Knuckles the Echidna. Also on the third, President Clinton lifts the U.S. trade embargo against Vietnam. On the 6th, Jack Kirby passes away at the age of 76. Andrew, do you know who Jack Kirby is?
No.
Jack Kirby is a comic book artist and writer. He's known as like one of the creators of like X-Men, Spider-Man, Captain America, Hulk. Like he and Stan Lee are like the two big Marvel people. They're both dead. Ripped to the max.
I was supposed to say, oh, you mean the comic book artist and writer, X-Men, Superman, Captain America creator? But I said, no.
No works. Well...
Tell me more.
I like that you're truthful instead of just reading whatever I have. Yeah. On the 6th, Charlie Heaton is born. Do you know who Charlie Heaton is?
No. What is he from?
He is an actor from Stranger Things. He's the older brother in Stranger Things.
Okay.
Yeah. Stranger Things 4, y'all. On the 7th, Howard Stern. He's been in a couple other movies recently, too. On the 7th, Howard Stern stops a would-be jumper on the George Washington Bridge.
Imagine if it was Joe Rogan. The person would jump off the bridge faster.
No, he wouldn't believe that he would die if he jumped off the bridge because from a certain point of view, you don't die when you jump off a bridge.
He believes in gravitational freedom, okay?
On the 8th, Jack Nicholson uses...
By the way, not a suicide joke. That is a Joe Rogan's an idiot joke.
Yes.
Just want to clarify that.
Yes, call the suicide prevention hotline if you're having
yes, do not
thoughts.
listen to talk radio hosts
unless it's Howard Stern,
unless they're telling you to call the suicide hotline, please.
Prevention hotline,
yes.
Suicide prevention hotline, yes.
Suicide prevention hotline.
I almost added a fourth word just to see if you would keep parroting me.
Should we give the number? I feel like we should give the number.
If you have it, or we could do it during the break.
Call 1-800-273-8255. 24/7, folks.
And if you listen to us in a country that's not America, do a quick Google search.
Should I give them the number to the Joe Rogan show? Is that important?
I don't think he has call-ins, does he?
Oh, I don't know.
On the 8th, Jack Nicholson uses a golf club to attack a... What if you just gave like the Joe Rogan number out instead of the...
No, because that could actually harm people. So I wouldn't do that. But you could call Joe Rogan.
If you were a terrible person, that is like one of the things you could have done in that moment.
Joe Rogan, and I was and I was all done recruiting hack scientists to be on my program to support my shitty views, then I would have time to do that.
He's just asking questions. It's just a guy asking questions.
It's just a guy asking questions to people who aren't qualified to answer.
Mm-hmm. On the 8th, Jack Nicholson uses a golf club to attack a car, inspiring the eventual movie with him and was it Adam Sandler called Anger Management?
Did it really?
One? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The guy with the smashed car got a big royalty check on that one.
Most likely. It's probably paid for whatever lawsuit occurred from that incident. On the 11th, Dominic James is born. Do you know who Dominic James is?
It's James, actually. Thank you.
Dominic James.
Yes, he plays the little kid, Alex Taggart, son of Sam Taggart, a nurse on ER.
And do you know who plays Sam Taggart?
Her name escapes me. She was in Scooby-Doo, wasn't she? Wasn't she?
Oh, yeah, that was Linda Cardellini.
Linda Cardellini?
Cardellini.
Cardellini sounds like a Caesar salad dressing.
It might be. For some reason, I was thinking it was Alex Kingston's character.
No, that was Elizabeth Corday.
Yes, that sounds correct.
She's British. That's why I did the accent, by the way.
And a hand motion, too, if you're watching us on namely90s.com/YouTube.
I'm just going to drink my coffee with my pinky up.
On the 12th, the 17th Winter Olympics Games starts in Lillehammer, Norway.
Why is that relevant to us? Why do you remember that? Like, what do you know about that you can apply to this situation?
Well, the Winter Games are currently happening. And
no, that wasn't where I was going. Remember when Top Gear does like the Olympics special?
Yes. Oh, did
they do it at Lillehammer?
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's a great special. I got to watch that again.
Highly recommend. Somewhere on Amazon Prime. Also on the 12th, The Scream is stolen in Oslo, Norway. Unrelated. Do you remember? We talked about this before when it got recovered. Do you remember The Scream, the painting?
The guy, I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Apparently it was stolen. Also on the 12th, model Anna Nicole Smith is hospitalized with a drug overdose. Yes. Rip to the max, Anna Nicole Smith.
Rip to the max.
Well, she didn't die in that instance. She went on to have a reality TV career in the early 2000s. Yeah. But figured it was relevant. On the 14th, Ali Grant is born. She's known for being in Weeds and Suburgatory.
Weeds, that's about gardening?
Yes. Okay. They like to trim a lot of bud. On the 19th, during the opening monologue on Saturday Night Live, guest host Martin Lawrence makes a sexually explicit joke, or multiple sexually explicit jokes, about female genitalia and feminine hygiene, which results in NBC banning him from appearing on the network for the next year and SNL for life. In repeats of this episode, the offending section of the monologue is replaced by a title card read by an off-screen writer, saying that although SNL is neutral about the issues mentioned by Lawrence, network policy prevents his remarks from being rebroadcast. And this is the incident that almost cost the entire cast of SNL their jobs.
Ooh.
Yeah. So they have it on YouTube, except it's not it's the part where where it just shows a black screen and the guy reads that statement from the people from SNL.
Wow.
Yeah. But you have to get through 3 or 4 minutes of already offensive monologue.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's a very 90s take on feminine hygiene and female genitalia. On the 23rd, Dakota Fanning is born. Do you know Dakota Fanning?
I do, for a couple of reasons. One is she's in Man on Fire, which is a Denzel Washington movie, which I love and actually watched recently. It's a good movie. Mm-hmm. He plays her like bodyguard, but he's also a drunk. And then she gets stolen or taken, kidnapped, whatever the word is. Like in some sort of South American country, and he shoots a bunch of people.
Set of skills.
And she was also in the 2002 sci-fi program Taken, which I originally thought you meant the movie Taken with Liam Neeson.
I thought that was weird. I was like, I don't recall her being in Taken.
But then I noticed the guy, Joel Gretsch, who's also the guy in the 4400, which seems like really similar. And it was
4400 or the old 4400?
The old one. This was a Spielberg.
By the way, the fact that they've rebooted 4400 already in less than a decade grinds my gears.
Also had Anton Yelkin. What's he from? He's from Star Trek?
He was the guy that got run over by his Land Rover because the brakes failed and he was getting his mail.
But she was also in an episode of House, I think. No, that was Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning, that's his sister.
Well, don't type in Dakota Fanning house because it shows you a picture of Dakota Fanning's house, just in case you were wondering.
Dakota Fanning. I mean, she's become a pretty prolific actress post her childhood acting days as well.
Yeah.
TV premiering and ending on the 5th. Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego premieres on Fox Kids. On the 6th, Aladdin the Animated Series premieres on CBS. On the 13th, Knight Rider 2010 miniseries debuts and most likely ends. On the 14th, Trashed with Chris Hardwick, an MTV game show ? Premieres.
Chris Hardwick was like hot shit back in the 90s for MTV. Like they were all about Chris Hardwick.
Which is weird. I mean, yeah. The ending. TV ending, Saved by the Bell, The College Years. Ends.
Oh, my favorite, the butt of all my favorite jokes.
Mm-hmm. And in the box office on the 4th, we have Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. And on the 11th, we have My Girl 2. I liked My Girl 1. The second one, it's like, why it's like Ghostbusters. Why do it again? On the Billboard charts, number 1 for February 1994. In from January for the first week is All for Love by Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting. For the rest of the month and into March is The Power of Love by Celine
Huey
Dion.
Lewis in the News. No.
For
the third decade.
And continuing on for the third week of February 1994, at number 3, we have The Sign by Ace of Base. Number 4, Breathe Again by Toni Braxton. Number 5, What a Man by Salt and Pepper. Number 6, Hero by Mariah Carey. Number 11, Because the Night by 10,000 Maniacs. That was a heavy sigh for Peppa.
No, that was actually just a regular sigh. Apparently, did you know that your body like recognizes that your lungs are just like slowly collapsing throughout the day, and you'll take a deep breath to re-expand them periodically without even thinking about it?
I do it all the time, but yeah. I'm also kind of overweight.
Mostly when I'm in line at the grocery store.
Number 12, Because of Love by Janet Jackson. Number 17, Linger by the Cranberries. Number 20, All That She Wants by Ace of Base. Number 21, Shoop by Salt and Peppa. And number 22, Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through.
Strong showing by Salt and Peppa and Ace of Base.
Right. And then now, since we've reached the midpoint of the show 10 minutes ago, we're going to toss it off to Dange and Lloyd with the UK headlines for February 1994, and stick around afterwards for this week's Namely 90s Minute.
Good evening. Here are your headlines for February 1994 in the UK. Great Britain and Northern Ireland compete at the 94 Winter Olympics in Lillehammer, and they win 2 bronze medals. Things Can Only Get Better continues as UK number 1. Wayne's World 2 is released in the UK cinemas.
Well. Those headlines were quite memorable, I must say. Indeed they were. And I shall tell you, we're going to send this back to those chaps in the States. And by the way, do wrap up. It's rather cold out there tonight.
Welcome back to our new mid-episode break, namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of the return of Law & Order for its 21st season, we are taking a look back at the original 20-season run of Law and Order. Law and Order was a police procedural and legal drama created by Dick Wolf on NBC, which ran from 1990 to 2010. Each episode begins with the narration, "In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups, the police who investigate them, and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories." The episode is then split into two portions, the first half where the body or crime is discovered and then evidence is collected and a suspect is arrested, before getting to the Order half of the episode where we experience the trial from the prosecution's point of view. Episode plots are usually ripped from the headlines, which over the course of the original run diverged more and more from reality due to lawsuits and making crimes more interesting for television. Over the course of 20 seasons, there were many main characters, including Mr. Big from Sex and the City, Dave Meyer from LA Law, the assassin Jubal Early from Firefly, Dan Briggs from the original Mission Impossible TV series, Paul Cicero from Goodfellas, animated Luminaire from Beauty and the Beast, Reba the Mail Lady from Pee-wee's Playhouse, Jordan Kavanaugh from Crossing Jordan, 1974's Nick Carraway in The Great Gatsby, the FBI agent love interest from Miss Congeniality, Rizzoli of Rizzoli and Isles fame, Iris's dad from the Flash TV series, the detective/love interest from the first few seasons of Angel, former Tennessee Senator Fred Thompson, Horatio Cain's wife from CSI Miami, the dad from Suburgatory, and the dad from Blackish. The series inspired multiple spin-offs, including Law and Order Special Victims Unit, Law and Order Organized Crimes, Law and Order Criminal Intent, Law and Order Trial by Jury, Law and Order LA, Law and Order True Crime, and with more series to come in the future. And that's Law and Order in a Namely 90s minute. More or less.
And now, back to the show.
Easier for me to cut that way. Thanks, Dange and new friend Lloyd. Gaz is out ill, I believe. Lost his voice screaming at turkeys. That's more or less accurate.
So they literally hired Lloyd of London to come in. And what if he was from London?
It's possible. I assume they were still doing voice chat, unless he also lives on the Isle of Man with Mr. Dangerous. Does he live on the Isle of Man? Or
I don't know.
Okay.
I think you know of the Isle of Man, so you said it.
I feel like they've said it before. I don't remember, though.
Isn't that the island that doesn't have electricity?
Yes. Or no. if your car crashes into a random box on the road, it knocks out internet for 5 weeks.
Yeah, I think you have to travel there by ship.
Yes.
Sailboat.
You could drive across the land at low tide. Anywhere you want to go? Sorry, that's my problem. It's like, why is he staring at me? I never get to see his face.
It looks pretty thin here. We took a long time to get to the point, though, so I feel like...
That's true.
We had fun. That's it for this week's edition of Namely 90. I don't know. I don't care about these things.
What about Ace Ventura, Pet Detective?
Listen, I don't like pet movies.
Fair, but you're a Jim Carrey stan.
Not those ones. I never saw them, and they don't look funny to me. Huh. Here's the thing.
Really?
Back then, obviously, I wasn't in the vet profession, but as you know, there's always like a dog movie every 3 or 4 years, and there's like another one coming out with Channing Tatum and a dog, and it's called, get this, Dog. Yes.
I did not know.
Okay.
That was a guess.
And I just can't. I die a little inside every time I see the commercial for it. And also, there's like a major concern because a bunch of people in my industry are like, please, dear God, do not get that type of dog, because they're not a good breed for beginners. Like, they are very challenging. So don't get that dog. Don't get a Belgian Malinois or a German Shepherd for that matter, unless you know what you're doing.
A Belgian Malinois. I've never heard of that one before.
It's like it kind of looks like I'm going to get slaughtered for this. It's kind of like a smaller German Shepherd, but the police and the military use them a lot for working. One of the guys my dad worked with had one for bomb sniffing. So.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's just like I'm sure if you ever watch any sort of movie regarding winemaking, it's very cringy.
I just avoid watching them, but
exactly.
Sure. Good point.
The other day I did reference Airbud 2, Golden Receiver at work.
You're not a pet detective.
No, but it's just animal movies, man. I just don't. I don't.
What about Meet Joe Young?
And then they always die.
Well, this one he saves. Wait,
in Marley and Me, does the dog die or does Owen Wilson die?
Yes.
The dog dies. No, the dog dies. And Owen Wilson's like, "Wow."
Which one had Shay your hair? I don't remember.
Wow.
Okay. Well, let me just tell you the plot of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Then, while we're on it, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, Jim Carrey movie. It's basically him coming off of The Mask and being, I could be as over the top as I want because everyone loved me in The Mask. And Courtney Cox is in it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she's the love interest. She hires Mr. Ventura because she works for the Miami Dolphins, whose mascot is a dolphin that can kick footballs over field goals. And
Airbud 3.
Essentially, well, this was pre-Airbud, but yes.
Dolphin in the end zone.
In the end zone. Something flipper. Anyway, basically the dolphin gets kidnapped. See, laughing already. And Ace has to track down who kidnapped the dolphin. And it turns out it's a spoiler. It turns out that the police chief is actually a former Dolphins kicker. I don't remember. It was Ray Finkel.
I don't think you specifically need to be a pet detective to investigate kidnapping.
True. Well, I think the thing was the police department didn't care.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because it's a dolphin.
And the chief did it?
Yes, that too. The chief did it, but the chief is a woman.
Oh. Or
at least you think she is throughout the movie. And then it's revealed that it's Finkel is Einhorn is Finkel, and then Ace has the realization because she kissed him at one point and then spends a good long while eating a lot of chewing gum, crying in the shower. It doesn't have a good look in 2022.
Do they end up shooting the dolphin and planting a knife on it?
No, dolphins are considered white in this universe.
Okay. God.
Yeah, what does happen? Dan Marino gets kidnapped. Famous Dolphins quarterback Dan Marino gets kidnapped as well because he was the one that botched holding the football at the Super Bowl, which Ray Finkel misses the kick, which is why he went on the bender. Dan
Marine.
Yes.
Oh.
Pun intentional?
I don't know. Let's just see if the dolphin will punt the ball again.
On you. And then
laces out.
It's, as a kid I loved the movie. I mentioned this maybe last year or earlier, like really early in the podcast. I watched it with my then girlfriend, and it was uncomfortable at times just at how like non-PC it was. But if you take out all of the homophobic jokes and half of the fat phobic jokes, you definitely end up with a much shorter movie. But an enjoyable one.
The only part I remember every time someone mentions Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is when he just decimates a bathroom.
So the thing is, they go to this party, a fancy dress party, and they try to Ace is like sneaking around because he thinks that the owner of the mansion is has the dolphin stashed away. And so he goes and sniffs around the fish tank, but I think he has a great white shark in his fish tank instead of a dolphin. And so he gets like mangled by a shark and survives. Wow. Or I think it was a shark. I can't remember. It's been 2 years since I've seen this movie again. And so then he re-enters out through the bathroom and he's like, Do you want to say the line?
No, I don't.
Do not go in there. Woo!
Is the rich mansion guy like an actor that we know of?
I think. Well, I don't know off the top of my head. He might have just been a Dolphins personnel because he was one of the players that had the championship ring.
He is the Dolphin Stealer, which I feel like is a series of novels that should be written.
The Dolphin, yeah.
Isn't there like some
a teen like
a teen book series, The Dolphin Stealer,
young adult novels?
Yep.
Namely 90s presents The Dolphin Stealer.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking forward to that coming summer of 2023.
She tries to have sex with the dolphin.
Oh God. It's like Twilight. They transform from dolphin into human. Oh God, this is actually going to be a thing.
They're being attacked by a group of weirmaids. That's a new thing. It's a werewolf mermaid cross. Merman.
But if they're already half man, why would they need to continue to transform between man and
I don't know.
Merman? Really nothing else jumped out at you. I wanted to talk about Jack Kirby real quick, but I didn't have
then we
anything.
can talk about Kirby, and then we can talk about Jigglypuff. We're just kind of going like things that are adjacent to each other.
Well, did you have you seen? Of course, you haven't seen. There's a trailer for the new Kirby game that's coming out in a month, less than a month,
Nope.
And he sucks an entire car and then gets it stuck in his mouth and then drives around as a car.
Oh man, his eyes are bigger than his mouth. What?
Not once he has his mouth around that car. And then like, is he driving with his tongue? Because the car doesn't become incorporated in him. It's like the bottom half of the car is sticking out and he's just kind of like driving around with the car. Jack Kirby, American comic book artist. He's like up there with Stan Lee, but since the Marvel movies didn't get popular until after he died, or get made until after he died, it wasn't as they don't throw his name around as much unless you're a nerd like myself. But he created Captain America. What else? Where's the list? He's made like the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Thor, Hulk, Iron Man. Stan Lee gets credit, but Jack Kirby also is behind a lot of that. And he also is known for like his run, that new movie, The Eternals, that I told you Harry Styles was in. This all connects because he did The Eternals, and he did like the current movie Eternals is kind of based off of his run of The Eternals back in the 70s, which is like space trippy, like kind of incorporating the history of the world into a lot of the design effects in that run of this comics. And that is all I can regurgitate about Jack Kirby off the top of my head.
Oh,
Andrew's bored out of his mind.
Yeah, that one. Oh boy, that's
Jack Kirby.
Nope. Jack Kirby, everybody. Rip to the max.
Rip to the max. I didn't pick a third thing because I thought you'd have something. Let's just.
I feel like we've been at this for about 40 minutes, though.
Yeah, that's what we aim for these days, isn't it?
That's
I have
what
like
she said.
2.5 minutes left. The Winter Olympics. I thought we should talk about real quick because it's currently happening, and it's the worst rated Winter Olympics in over a decade.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is, but like, no one cares.
No one cares. Yeah.
Why do you think specifically that no one cares?
That's a good question. I mean, can you name? Yeah, to me, it's just a sea of skiing and snowboarding events, and then curling.
I think the issue is that the NHL is not participating. So like, I feel like the hockey is like the marquee event. And then when that's not there, like there's not as much carryover. Like, oh, we watched the hockey and now curling is on. Let's watch curling for a while.
Didn't the Canadian women's team have a good run? Did they win gold this year?
People watch it because of the notoriety of the players and like the skill level. So if it doesn't have the NHL athletes, then it's more like younger It doesn't have the draw, you know? It's not like whatever Winter Olympics in 2010 were super intense. Vancouver, right? 2012.
That sounds correct.
It was 2010.
I don't know, man. I watched the curling. That's about it.
Bunch of grown men shouting and sweeping on ice.
Mm-hmm. It's like the reverse of. I don't have a joke there.
Do you think they're like, hey man, you want to go throw some stone, slide some stone?
You know, there's like some curling bros out there. They're like, we're gonna go slide some stone, bro.
Dude, let's go slide some stone.
Let's slide some stone.
Is that a sexual euphemism?
We can make it one. Shall we slide some stone into the outro, or
let's slide that stone right into the outro.
All right.
What do they yell when they are curling? Sweep more, sweep.
Stop.
But in Russian.
Sweep. Yeah. That's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Check the episode description for this week's supplemental Spotify playlist curated by yours truly. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Namely90s with a 90s, or find our personal accounts at bschwitty and at NamelyAndrew and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with a 90s. Finally, you can also contact us through our website, Namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Throwing Stone, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and we will catch you next time.
Yeah, slide that stone.